Hello and welcome back to Scotland. This time we're moving offshore and travelling to some unique and very special locations. We're getting out of the car and finding our sea legs. Using an alternative set of wheels from time to time, there'll be extremes of weather ranging from sublime to decidedly damp. A range of different sleeping quarters, some unexpected and some planned, well, sort of. I'll share some stunning landscapes with you, and there'll be the occasional need for a rope. There are always local treats to be enjoyed in these places. Welcome to the Scottish Isles. Where better to start than the beautiful island of Skye? For years I had obsessed about traversing the Cuillin Ridge. It was probably my greatest dream, and we'll get to that. But it's worth pointing out that it's not just the black Cuillin that makes Skye so special. Whether or not you enjoy climbing, Skye is a wonderful island and well worth a visit. Be warned, however, that the weather isn't always this good. Skye is nicknamed the Misty Isle for a very good reason. Anyway, back to the main ridge traverse. Now, where's my liner? I was looking for my sleeping bag liner. I discovered much later on that it was buried in the bottom of my rucksack. So here we are, shake your foot a bit, Dave. Now bivvies on the Skye Ridge. It's 9:45 and it's like daylight. Wow, what a place to go to sleep, eh? Sun's setting. Let's go do more up there. If you're interested in traversing the Cuillin Ridge, check out my earlier video, 11 Tips for Success. The TD Gap is regarded as the crux of the Cuillin Ridge traverse. It involves slithering up a slippy basalt chimney, and whilst not highly graded in climbing terms, it can prove to be quite awkward. Having enough water is often a stumbling block when it comes to success on the Cuillin Ridge. We had a secret weapon. In the form of Mr. T, we'd made a somewhat loose arrangement to meet at the base of the inaccessible pinnacle at 8 AM. This climb was Dave's penultimate Munro, and we'd agreed to share a rope. He provided us with some water, which we really needed for the rest of the ridge traverse. In case you're wondering about the different clothing on some of these photographs, a number of them were taken on previous trips to Skye. In fact, if you are interested in the main ridge traverse, I'd recommend becoming acquainted with the mountains before attempting it. One more thing to note, it's a very long way back to the Sligachan once you've summited Cuillin, so make sure you've got enough time for a meal in the pub and a few beers. A perfect sunny day on Mull's only Munro, Benmore. This is a great hill at the best of times, but in winter it provides a superb day out. Mull is popular with birdwatchers. Whilst we were there, we saw 4 sea eagles and even an otter. The Outer Ridge, located on the Isle of Arran, is considered to be the greatest Scottish mountaineering ridge outside of the Isle of Skye. Jura itself is a fabulous little mountain, proving beyond question the truism about size not being everything. The traverse of this knobbly crest rates as one of the most entertaining routes of its kind anywhere. Route finding is continuously challenging, and in all but perfectly dry conditions, a rope is very welcome, particularly as it allows you to abseil the infamous Mauvais Pas. The entire traverse of this ridge is a long day, and the crux is the famous Witch's Step, Cairn Macallic, which is graded V-diff, very difficult in climbing terms. Arran isn't just great for climbing, it's very popular with cyclists too. Circumnavigating the island is 55 miles, and it's a beautiful ride. Our own experience of cycling around Arran took place on an unseasonably hot day. Dominating the view of Jura from almost any direction are the three distinctive and easily recognised Paps of Jura found in the southern half of the island. On one of the Paps, remains of a checkpoint from the Second World War can be found. There's a commanding view to be obtained from the top of the Paps on a clear day, and it's well worth the effort of climbing them if the weather is settled. To the north can be seen Loch Tarbert, the northern half of Jura, and Mull. To the northwest is Colonsay. To the east, the whole of Kintyre with Arran beyond. To the south, the Isle of Islay and Northern Ireland. The islands of Lewis and Harris. I feel that we didn't spend enough time here. The main aim was to summit the highest peak, and Cuillin. We took our bikes and, to be quite honest, enjoyed the cycling more than the walking, though it has to be said that the comparison probably isn't quite fair, given that the summit was shrouded in cloud. The beaches here are very beautiful, and the weather famously changeable, coming in from the Atlantic as it does. If you're interested in these islands, Peter May's novels are well worth reading, particularly his crime novels, the Lewis trilogy. The traverse of the Rum Cuillin. Skye aside, this was probably my favourite island adventure. As we approached the island by the ferry, we realised that it had a covering of snow, which was entirely unexpected. Our original plan was to camp for the night after we got off the ferry, but the weather looked so inviting that we just decided to set off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There are 2 corbets on the ridge, the highest being Askeval. The ascent of Askeval involves a 30-foot moderate climb up a steep, slabby step known as the Pinnacle. This can, however, be avoided by detouring left from the base of a rocky section on the east face of the hill. Dropping down from the end of the ridge brings you to the coastal path, which leads to the Dibbidall Bothy. Having carried the tent and all the backpacking gear across the ridge, we were happy to stay at the Bothy for the night, leaving the last 5 miles until morning. In fact, the Bothy's a great place, and I had the best night's sleep I've ever had there. And so for now, that brings me to the end of this short tour of some of the fabulous Scottish islands. If you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It's free and it's easy, just click the subscribe button. As always, thanks very much for watching, and see you outdoors again soon. Bye for now.